guys, welcome back to another episode of Lamb Talk, Expensive Conversations. Uh, Today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to quit your 9 to 5. And it's going to be kind of fluent today. It's going to be off the top, just a mix of my experience, of my entrepreneurial journey. We can say, solopreneur, whatever. I like to using that word, right? And I'll give you 5 steps it takes to quit your 9 to 5. Okay, and just to give you the whole juice and flavor of the whole deal. Uh, all right, let's go. Okay, so if you want to quit your 9 to 5, the first thing you have to do is you have to find out your reason, right? So your reason have to be strong, your reasoning have to be sound, and it has to be convincing to you, right? So, for example, my reason I wanted to quit, just being an employee is because nothing is wrong with being an employee, but I just noticed that over time I really didn't keep a job for a long time, right? So I'll be in one job 1 year for 2 years, but that's it. 2 years was like my most I've ever been in the job. Most of my jobs are 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, maybe even one sometimes. Sometimes I started and quit, the same day. So, and I know a lot of y'all have had this experience, right? No doubt. So, I can definitely tell you guys that, uh, if you have a problem holding on the job, and it's not about, don't don't do this if you have a problem holding on a job because you're lazy. No, do this because if you have a problem holding on a job because maybe you have a problem with authority, you don't like people telling you what to do, or and that's not in a bad sense, but just you don't like being overlooked and stuff like that, and you have tried like a less, let's see, micromanaging type of position, but you still don't like it, right? So maybe you like to set your own hours, or just work on your own time, right, type deal. So your reasoning got to be sound, right? That's just a few examples. My reason was I knew that I was meant to do more, okay? And if I was meant to do more, like, again, I'm on the journey of finding my purpose and finding my mission, my God-given mission, right? As a man. So I knew that that's gonna come with some financial responsibility. Okay, so because obviously equipment and stuff like that is not cheap, and anything that you're gonna do in life is gonna require some kind of sort of money, right? And I've always been a high earner when it comes to like having jobs, because my last 9 to 5 I had was like it was paying me like 80,000 a year, 70 to 80,000 a year. So I've always been in management positions and stuff like that. So it's not that I was in a job and it was paying me low and whatever. Like I had jobs like that. Don't get me wrong, but you know, my reasoning behind that was I wanted to, if I wanted to find who I am, I needed to, make my own schedule. That's number one. And I had to get my time back. Time was a big deal because even though I was working so much money, 80,000 a year, uh, your time is not yours. I was doing 12, 16 hours, 17 hours sometimes at a job, right? Being a manager, running the place, right? Making other people rich. So I had to make sure that I I had my time back. So and that was, one of the main reasons. I used to complain. I didn't like waking up, you know, early in the morning or late at night or whatever the case may be. I didn't like doing that. Okay. So if you want more control of your life, you have to take control of your finances. And if you want control of your finances, you got to take control of your time. So that was my, kind of, light bulb. I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Even though I'm making good money, I would have to do something on my own where I can make my own schedule so I can, go on my journey and do what I need to do. Because it was hard working out. It was hard staying consistent with my health and stuff like that. My health used to deteriorate, right? So I have to go to the doctors a lot and stuff because of that same issue. So if you're working a lot and you cannot find time to work out, you cannot find time to, get your checkups regularly, you're always sick. And when you're tired and you're in that state of, tiredness all the time and stuff like that, your body, it does take a toll on your body. So you do get more sick easier, right? You get sick easier, I should say. So, I didn't get my time back. So I digress. So yeah, having time, right? So I needed time, right? I needed money, okay, in order to pursue my journey, right? So along with, again, reading and stuff like that, I knew that, I needed more time to learn more things. Okay, so that's my number one reason. My reason. Number two, the second step into quitting your 9 to 5, after you found a good reason, right? A reason that's good to you, that's solid to you, right? You have to, I wouldn't quit right away, right? I would go ahead and go start a side hustle. So for example, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you're like, you know what? Um, I want to say I want to sell cookies, okay, or I want to sell some kind of, digital products or whatever. I would make that into a side hustle, or I will start side hustles, because the number one thing you want to do, right, is you want to kind of put your pinky toe in the water, right? So you want to test the waters and see if it's for you. So it's a lot of, self-managing, right? It's a lot of, telling yourself you need to go do this even though you don't feel like doing it. Just like your boss. Your boss is like, "Hey, get that P&L done right away." And you're like, "Yes, boss. Yes, sir." Right? Or "Yes, ma'am." So it's none of that, right? It's nobody. So you can fail quick and fall on your face fast. So with me, I was already, before I quit, I was already doing Toro, right? So I was doing Toro, I was managing the cars, I was learning how to maintain the cars, right? In between rentals and stuff like that. So, and I was also doing auto detailing as well. So I had a couple side hustles banging for me, right? They weren't enough for me to say, "Hey, I'm gonna quit my job," but they were enough to keep me occupied on my off days, right? As I said, I used to work 16 hours, right? So I used to work 8 in the morning, right? I used to work 8. I would say, all right, so I used to work 12 to, let me give you the actual hours, right? So I used to work 8 in the daytime, 8 at night. Okay. So my management position in the daytime at this retail store, and at night I used to do CNA. So in between those times, I would find time, you know, yeah, I would find time, right? I know it's tough. So yeah. So getting back to it, I would find time to get what I need to get done. Okay. So my detailing wasn't really picking up until its second year, right? So the first year I was still working and detailing, and second year I was trying to get, everything to get, like booking the appointments, people calling in, setting up my first thing I did was set up my Google page. But I was getting into the motion of being an entrepreneur, being a self-sustaining, making my own money, being self-sustained, right? Self-sustaining, right? And making my own money and planning my own hours and stuff like that. So I used to do it on Sundays, or I do it on Saturdays, or even sometimes if the money was greater, like for example, if I'm doing a $200-300 detail and I had to go into work that day, I got paid $20 an hour. So if you do the math, I'm getting way more money in that couple hours of me doing the detail than me, going to work for 8 hours all day. You know. So I would definitely, yeah. I would definitely call out for sure. So I used to call out. So I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm just saying test the waters. Okay, test the waters for what you want to do. So if that's selling cookies, if that's doing simple things, making T-shirts, starting your own brand, podcast, whatever, you have to test the waters. You have to do something that's some sort of side hustle while you're doing your 9 to 5, and it's gonna get busy. So that big transition phase, right, where you're trying to figure out, okay, you're starting your side hustles or side hustle, right? And you're working your job, you're gonna be really, really busy. And this is the time that you have to be really, really focused dialed in, disciplined, and locked in. Okay, so if you're doing your 9 to 5, when you're doing your 5 to 9, right, when you're home, you have to be working on your side hustle. You have to be working on your side business. So that will teach you a lot of discipline. So when you do eventually get the free time where your side hustle becomes your main business, it won't be a problem for you, because that transitioning taught you a lot. The transitioning part is really tough for a lot of people, where they can't find the balance, right? And we'll talk about this later on at the end of the video. I'm gonna tell you when is the right time to quit, right? So anyways, so you found your reason, right? You found a good reason why you need to be an entrepreneur. You need to go out there and fight and get it on your own. I understand that. Trust me, I understand that. I got the line in me too, so I understand what you mean. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gents, I understand. Okay, I was in the same position. It's not bad. Some people love their jobs, but for those, with the fire burning inside, like, this is just not for me. I'm here, I'm stuck, I feel stuck. I'm around people with, I would say different mindset and mentalities. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that environment is not cultivating to me, or to you, right? I should say. You can go ahead and, it's time, right? You need to start your own business. You need to do your own thing, right? Okay. So you found your reason, okay? And now you got your side hustle. Third step in the quitting your 9 to 5, right? You'd have to be able to adapt, right? So you have to be able to, fortify your mind and tell yourself that, hey, I would adapt to any situations. Okay, anything that comes around the corner, because things will come around the corner. Okay, things will come around the corner, and you're gonna have times when you're gonna doubt yourself, because customer didn't pay, or a lot of customers didn't pay, or you can't make ends meet this month. So don't quit though, right? Don't quit. It's a part of the process. It's a part of fortifying you. As my parents used to say, having tough skin, right? So that part of the journey is gonna be there, and you're gonna be scared. It's kind of good to have somebody that's already done it around you, so you can ask questions, right? A mentor, whatever. Not everybody has to go get a mentor to be paid for, or whatever, but it's good to have someone, right? And it's gonna happen. Tough times are gonna happen, so don't freak out. Okay, so just be able to adapt, have that capability to adapt. And you have to be a problem solver, like think on your feet type of person. Like, you have to be able to, okay, I'm gonna do this. Oh, that's not working out. Like, you have to be able to be that type of person. Okay, like, you can't just this is not your 9 to 5. Okay, they can't just laze around and, oh, my boss gonna tell me what to do, and you're gonna no, nobody's gonna fix your money problems. Like, nobody's gonna fix your logistics problem. Nobody's gonna fix your booking problem. Nobody's gonna fix the internet. Nobody's gonna fix nothing. Okay, there's no guy coming later on to do. No, you have to do everything yourself. So you have to be able to adapt to these conditions, right, quickly and fast, in order to be successful. So uh so yeah, so that's the third step. Have the mindset to be able to adapt, okay? And your side hustle will teach you that, okay? The fourth step, I would say, is creating that creating that environment, okay? So I'm still gonna go back to this, right? On you have to be reading information that would feed your mind and your spirit, right? So basically, you have to be fortifying yourself, right? So doing things, going out on your own, you're going out on a limb, okay? So you don't know if it's gonna work, or you don't know. Okay, you don't know if it's gonna work or fail. Okay, so you have to fortify your mind, fortify your spirit. So you have to be, either you have to be meditating on what you want, right? Telling yourself that this is what I want, this is how I'm gonna do it. I've had to do that, right? When I was doing my overnight job, right? I was, in the I was in the room, because we had a lot of rooms, right? Patients was in the rooms, but there was always empty rooms. So I would go in the room and meditate. I'll go in the room and be by myself, and either I was watching, my videos, or reading my books, or just, even making music too. I used to make music at work too. I know, right? Crazy, but that just gave you a sense of peace. But that, because I've been up all day, right? So you kind of have to have that time for yourself to, centralize your energy and focus on what you really, really want. And at the time, again, I was determined to, start my own thing, to do my own thing. So let's recap. So you found your reason. Okay, that's important to you, right? You found your reason. You got your side hustle going, right? You're able to adapt, right? And you're learning from your side hustle. Now you're believing in yourself, and you're believing in what you need to get done. You're believing in your purpose. You're believing that you are meant for this, right? The fifth step in quitting your 9 to 5 is not being afraid to fail. Okay, you're gonna fail. You're probably gonna fail and go back to a 9 to 5, then try again. But don't be afraid. Okay, it happens. Okay, so you have to have no fear of failure, because you're not failing. You're just learning. Okay, so you found your reason. You got your side hustle going. You're learning to adapt from your side hustle, right? You're believing in yourself, and you don't have a fear of failure. You're ready. Okay, I wouldn't say quit now, but practice those things. Okay, with your side hustle and with those four other attributes, like I would practice. I would practice a lot, right? I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm gonna tell you what I had to do to get it done. Okay. And while I was doing it, there was a lot of people in the process telling me, yay, nay, yay, nay. You cannot listen to anybody but yourself. Okay. I know it's crazy, but you cannot listen to anybody but yourself. Reason being is because you're going to go through some times where your job is paying you and your job money is sure money, and your side hustle money is like it's not coming in the way it's supposed to come in. So in those times you cannot have doubt, because again, when you go full time, it's going to happen. Okay, it's going to happen. The best thing you can do is to have faith. You have to have some sort of faith that, when I do this, when I embark on this journey, I'm not gonna have any fear of failure, because I'm not failing. I'm just learning. You're learning how to set up your LLC the right way. You're learning how to get funding the right way. You're learning how to manage people the right way, if you have employees or whatever. You're learning how to manage your time the right way. You're learning how to talk to customers the right way, right? So now it's your thing. So from your in your side hustle, you should be learning all these attributes. That's why I said you have to you have to have no fear of failure, right? No fear of failure, because your side hustle should be teaching you all that stuff, right? So when you get deeper into your full-time business, then it's gonna get crazy, right? It's gonna get full-time on crazy, because now you're depending on this money to feed your family. Okay, so a lot of people, when I started my company, I was still working a lot. I had to quit one job, so I only had a 1 day job. A lot of people were always ask was all a lot of people, they were always asking me, how are you doing this? How many cars you have? How are you making money on the side? Well, even people that were close to my boss used to ask me, oh, um, why you calling out and stuff. And I used to have to lie. I ain't gonna lie to you. I capped a lot. I lied a lot. I lied and told them, I was sick. Somebody died. God forgive me. And a lot of stuff, because I wanted to call out to make some money. I wanted that sick time. Plus, I wanted the sick time. So I was kind of scared, in a sense, right? I didn't want to lose that guaranteed money, right? I didn't want to lose that guaranteed money, and also I wanted to make my side hustle money. Ways where you know that can get kind of antsy, right? But again, I stay on the path. Okay, I stayed on the path. Okay, if you're going to start to even manifest the idea of quitting your 9 to 5, I would recommend two books. Okay, The Richest Man in Babylon, right, and Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I would recommend those two books, because those two books, reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, it will help you to see how money, and these are just basic books on, financial, structure, and just how finances work and how money should work and how investing is, and which side of the line you want to be on, okay, and where your mind is going to go. That's just like basic, like 101, right, where it's going to take you. So Rich Dad Poor Dad and the richest man in Babylon, I'm sorry, that's going to teach you how to invest your money, and how abundance work when it comes to money. And those are mindset books also. Like, it will teach you how to have a different outlook on, the dollar bill, right? So those books will give you a foundation, and then you can go ahead and, you can do Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and you can do other books that's going to cultivate that, but you're going to need that. Okay, those are the tools in your arsenal. You're gonna need to be reading at least those two books first, and then figuring out what you want to do, right? Because it's a big game, right? It's a big money game. So, and as the rich folks says, like, as rich folks say, like, money is a big game, life is a big game, you just have to play it right, okay, and have fun when you're playing it, okay. Fun meaning, like, it's interesting to learn, right? It's fun for you to learn about money and to learn how to invest money and how to make money work for you. Simple, right? So you want to read those books, right? And don't listen to anybody, no naysayers, right? You're gonna have to stay focused. Okay, it's gonna get rocky sometimes, but you're gonna have to stay focused. Okay, guys. If you have a side hustle that you're working on that you want to turn permanent, you can drop it in the comments, and, let us know how far you are in your journey. Are you, close to making it, your permanent business, or are you just gonna leave it as a side hustle, right? So this is what you guys been waiting for. So how to know, right, when to quit your job when your side hustle is giving you some money, it's giving you good money, and then your job is still giving you, that same amount of money. So how to know when to quit, how to know when to balance your time. Okay, so for me personally, I'm going to say I quit my 9 to 5s, I quit my jobs, right, when my income from my side hustle was matching closely, like the trend of it was matching closely. So, like, for example, right, in June, when I started in May, I made $0 because I made $0. Okay, when June came around, right, I think I made my first 3,000. I think I made my first 3,000 in June. um July came around. I think I made a little bit over. I think I made a little bit over 4,000, right? And then so on and so forth. And then, August, I made closer to, like, 5 grand. So, and it was getting closer to six, right? So I knew that, on that uptrend, I was doing the right thing, right? I was getting more customers, I was getting more clients, I was getting more consistency from my clients, I was getting feedback from my clients. Oh yeah, I like your service. Oh, you're better than, such and such. I like this, whatever, right? So I knew I was, the one. I knew I was the one doing this, right? I am me, and I'm doing it. I'm unique to it. So, nobody can do it like me. So that time, my confidence was really through the roof. Okay, so, and that's another thing, your confidence got to be through the roof. Okay, so with handling, with watching my analytics and stuff like that, and having my customers, and, my rentals were always gone. Like, and on top of that, it was the summer, so my detailing business was picking up also. I knew it was time. I knew it was time because I didn't have any time to go to work anymore. So I would get up, I would, get a rental prepared to go get it booked. And also I would have a detail appointment, maybe two of them in the day. You know, that's probably 1,000, a couple thousand, right, in a day right there. I'm not leaving that to go anywhere else. I'm not leaving that to go to a 9 to 5. Okay. I'm not leaving that to go work for anybody that day. Okay. So I had a couple days like that before I quit, but when those days, and again, it doesn't have to be a couple thousand. Your income right now could be, $2, $3,000. If your side hustle is doing that, I will quit. Okay, if your side hustle is showing potential that it could do that, I'll definitely quit. Okay, this is a story when I quit. So in August, 3 to 4 months after I started and my trajectory was good, I did quit. Okay, but when I quit, I went to Jamaica because I already planned the vacation right from for my birthday. I went to Jamaica and I came back, and a good thing I did, because when I quit, I was so concerned about it. Even I asked my wife, I was really, really concerned about not being able to, make, I'm not saying not being able to make money, but I was just concerned because it's like swimming with a life. It's like swimming with I would say, all right, it's like being in a kayak in the middle of the sea and it's a little rough and you have a life jacket on, versus, right, swimming a kayak in the middle of the sea and you have no life jacket on, because if you drown, you drown, right? It's over with. Ain't nothing coming to save you, right? So unless it's a ship that's far away, but you be drowning. Okay, so that's what it was like for me in that analogy. So because it felt like that, I needed that extra confidence from my wife. I'm like, hey, you think I could do this? Yes. She was there for me. She was giving me my confidence. She was talking to me like, yeah, you can do this. You got this. And sometimes you need those people by your side. Even my friends were there for me too. Like because my friend was on the same journey as me, and he was basically doing the same thing. He was like, he already had quit his job already, but his business was starting to pick up, right? So he was there for me, I was there for him. It was kind of like a mutual thing, so we was just hyping each other up. Yeah, bro, we can do this, we can do this, until a year later, and we're doing this, we're very successful at it. So I would say you need those people in your corner, but you definitely, it's gonna definitely be a trip the first time you say, you know what, I quit. And I just didn't go back. Do it professionally though. I didn't go back, but I didn't cause any problems. Okay, so I had keys for the building and stuff like. I just returned the keys and stuff like that. Promptly, right? So I did it very professionally. I have one lesson for you guys though. This was a tough lesson for me. When I say don't be afraid to fail, don't be afraid to learn. That's what I really mean. When I first started, I was doing when I first started, I was doing Toro, and I was doing auto detailing, and I was driving for Uber. Now, in my little tiny head, when my little tiny head, I thought I could replace $80,000 a year by being busy with what 3 4 different things. It didn't work out. Okay, it took a little bit for me to realize like I couldn't pay my bills, and again, I'm a man. I like to be the breadwinner in my house, in my home, right? So I want to pay most of the bills, if not all of it. My wife does help, but at the time she just started working, so it was no way she could have took on the responsibility that I was taking on, which is taking care of the house, right? So and again, I know in my downtime she should be there, but it was just not the ideal time, right? So, and I love her. Shout out, right? Shout out to her, Kadeen. I love you, baby. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, so I'm saying don't be afraid to learn. Reason I'm saying that because I stumbled. I made a bad investment when I was doing Toro. I bought the wrong car. Didn't get an economy gig or whatever, right? I bought the wrong car. Okay. Long story short, I bought the wrong car. It was a bad investment. It wasn't renting out. Um, I was doing Uber at the same time, and I was doing Uber for like 8 hours a day, sometimes 9, 10, 12. Right? I didn't like driving. Didn't know I didn't like driving until I had to drive to get some money, right? So I didn't like that. And I knew I liked the rental though, because it was more passive-ish. I knew I loved that, but it wasn't doing nothing, right? It was just like maybe 1, 2 a month. Okay, it wasn't doing nothing at all. I think I made like $300 a month with the rental. It wasn't doing nothing, right? And the detailing was the thing that was bringing me through the summer until I decided I needed to go back to work and try again, right? So it was a bad month for me. Okay, and I'm talking about this is way back. Like this was a bad month. It was a bad month for me. Like that month when I realized I had to face reality, like reality versus what's in my head. Like, it's not gonna work out. It was the toughest thing I had to tell myself. You're gonna make it. Okay, you're gonna make it. My wife told me, she was a driving force. She was like, go to work, start over, redo it, figure out what you did wrong, and try again. And it was tough. It was super, super tough. And I'm telling you, very emotional. Like, as a man, like, I almost cried. I probably did cry. Sorry, I'm a bitch, but I probably did cry. I ain't gonna lie, and I know there's some tough millionaire guys out there that I know they had sometimes where they had to cry on their wild shoulder. Like, I think I didn't cry on her shoulder though, right? I digress. Anyways, as I'm saying, like, I was very emotional. Okay, and looking at yourself as not a failure, but you've learned, and you're gonna come back again, right? It's like, doing the tournaments, right, or going to the Olympics, or trying to beat the. I wouldn't say that. Let me give you another analogy. You're running the race you're running the race among the fastest, right? Because quitting your job and being among the entrepreneurs of the world, right? Especially in America, like, it's a competitive thing, right? So it's a million businesses out there just like yours, right? So you're running a race against people that's been started already, and you're trying to make your mark. Okay, so the first time you run, you might not win that year, right? You might not win instantly or at all, right? Depends on how you look at it. And I didn't. I came in dead last, right? I didn't win. It just wasn't for me at the time. And also, I needed more development mentally. So my mental wasn't there. So even I thank God that I didn't win, because if I had won, I wouldn't have been able to, what I'm saying, cultivate the right environment, right, to be healthy, right? So, with the money, I should say. So, you know, I thank God that I waited, and a year later, it waited for me to, be more mature, understand things more, have a more deeper, critical thinking of, life and stuff like that, and relationships, and my spirituality, and, how money works, and investing, and assets and versus liabilities and stuff like that. It took me a lot, right? It took me about, I say, 6 months of reading and understanding you know, how life works, and how money works, and all that stuff. And this is maturing, right? So when I did start again, I took off immediately. Okay. And I thank God, right? I took off immediately. Immediately. Okay. So, as they said, minor step back for a greater comeback, right? Minor setback for a greater comeback, right? So I took a couple steps back, and trust me, it was embarrassing. I mean, not embarrassing in the fact that, people knew, but it was embarrassing for me, because I had to face myself in the mirror every day and say, you know what, you're not a failure. You got this. Just figure this out, right? It's gonna be tough for you. Trust me, it's gonna be tough. If you're most likely you're gonna go through that, but if you don't have to, thank God. Okay, you're gonna be a winner. You're gonna be a winner. But if you do, don't worry about it. Champ, you got this. Champ, you got this. Trust me. Don't worry about it. You'll get it done. Okay, just, again, recalibrate, load up, and hit again. And you're gonna hit the target. Guaranteed, if you take some time and develop yourself, the next time you do, right, you're gonna hit. Okay, so that's it, guys. I got recommended. This topic was recommended by a friend, right? She was saying, "Hey, you should talk about how to quit your 9 to 5, how to make that transition." And I was like, "Yo." It's like, that's a good one. That's a good one, right? And again, you can comment anything you want to hear about. You can drop it in the comments, right? I know we're not a big channel yet, but we will be there. We'll get to the M's. We'll get to the millions, right? The hundreds of thousands and millions of subscribers and listeners and views and whatever. I'm not worried about that. I'm just, right now, my focus is getting the content out there and making sure you guys get the best quality conversation ever, right? That can actually change your life. If you share it, when you share it, I hope you do share it, right? And hit the subscribe button, man. All right. Thank you guys for, tuning in today. Thank you very much, and I appreciate all your subscriptions and your support. Right, and again, have a productive week. And this is Lamb Talk, and this is your host Desi. Thanks. Until next time.